Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mayhem at Mayodan Town Hall. I'm League Director Brian Russell, joined by several other members of the league staff to give everyone a walkthrough of the upcoming weekend, which I'm told will be out of this world. We've got a space theme for this weekend, so excited to see all the costumes and pit zone decorations that have been the norm this season. And again, looking forward to that. So the purpose of tonight is really to get your questions answered. I think you will find the structure of the weekend and the schedule is very familiar to you if you've been to one of our first three events. But each venue is a little bit different. So we'll point out some of the differences about Mayodan itself and some of the different things we're doing with the schedule. And certainly, if this is your first time, and we do have some student athletes, this will be their first ever NICA event. We're here for you. We want to get those questions answered. Our format will be similar to all of our other town halls. We will spend probably about 30 minutes with this one. We don't have a lot of new information, but the first 10 or so will be just about arrival, what to expect when you get there. And then we will walk through the Saturday schedule, answer any questions about that, and then we'll go to Sunday, the race schedule, so to speak. And throughout, you are able to ask questions, put them in the chat. Our very capable programs director, Shel Frost, will help us manage the chat window. And after each of those three sections, we'll pause and see if we didn't cover any of those questions about arrival Saturday or Sunday to make sure we have them all covered. And then we will end the call with just an open mic night, essentially. We'll spend some time just getting all those questions answered. As has been the norm for us in this league, thank you very much to our league sponsor, Fidlock, the first student athlete to ask a question at this point going forward, and they probably all teed up and boom, 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 rapid fire coming in will earn a credit with Fidlock tonight. So thank you very much to Fidlock for offering that. And we are here to run an event for the student athletes. So it's very important that we hear from you and really appreciate you being online and asking those questions. So I will go to share my screen here and walk everyone through just some basic information, where to find information about the weekend. I hope everyone is fairly familiar with our website at this point. So go to the website, go up to the What's Happening tab and click on Event Schedule. Scroll down to the event we are all talking about tonight, which is Mayhem at Mayodan. And I think you can find just about everything you're looking for on the website. And we will go to several of these documents or sites as we go through the evening. I'll come back to the flyer in a minute, but just to give everyone orientation, if you want to know about the race course, there's the Ride with GPS file and a preview video. You can take a look before you even get there. We'll have our volunteer and camping coordinators talk about what's going on with those two events. And as we've done all season, we are streaming live results for all our events. You can click on that tab, get to the results page throughout the day Sunday, and see how your racer is doing. And just this morning, I put the call-up lists on the website so you can see where you are in your category for call-ups on Sunday. And of course, the venue map, which we will spend a lot of time going through this evening. Let me click on the event flyer and give everyone just an overview. Again, our structure will be arrival, how to get there, Saturday schedule, and then Sunday schedule. And again, we'll come back to this several times throughout the call tonight. Volunteer, if you have the time and opportunity, please sign up to volunteer. There's that results page again. And thanks to everyone. We've had close to 200 people respond to our economic impact survey after every event. And that's very, very helpful. I've been on about 3 calls this week with potential future venues talking about the impact we make to those communities. And again, there is the race schedule. Either from the website or right here on the flyer, if you click on Ferris Memorial Park, that will also bring you to the venue map. And again, if you Google Ferris Memorial Park in Mayodan, it will bring you to this intersection generally. And for most everyone coming in, when you come in and come into the park, you'll be greeted by Sam and our wonderful parking volunteers. And most of you will head to this parking lot if you're not dropping off stuff for bid zone or coming into camping. And so with that, Michael Ashley, our camping coordinator, why don't you just give an overview for those campers that are coming in, what to expect and where they're headed for the weekend?
Yeah, hey Brian, thanks. Um, I was a little late getting my email out today, but I did get one to everyone about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. So that'll cover a few more details that I'm not going to cover during the Zoom call. As you come in, on your right will be the baseball field where tent camping will take place. You'll pull into the purple parking area where they're, yep, right where Brian's pointing, and unload your gear there. And then we ask that you park your car. Please don't back in and unload and leave your car there for the weekend. If you're a camper van, travel trailer, RV parking, you'll continue through the purple parking lot, pull into the soccer field, straight through there, and ask that the ones who arrive first just back in along that edge and try to park tight again. Prefer that you have about 10 feet between your campers. We've got it. I've sold out everything that I can think I can fit in there to try to accommodate everyone. So again, please park close together. One of the big things for this weekend is, again, the venue is going to allow us to have solo stoves this year. We weren't allowed to have solo stoves at Mayhem last year. We are this year. So please be careful with the baseball field, the soccer field. Don't leave, unburned sticks behind or ashes or anything else. Clean up and make sure we get this privilege for next year as well. One quick note about Fletcher. I know we're talking about Mayodan, but one quick note about Fletcher is we will not have on-site camping there. So make sure that you go ahead and make other arrangements for that venue. Brian, that's about all I've got.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Michael. And again, if anyone's got some questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat. We'll pause after this arrival section to make sure we've got them all answered if Shell or any other staff on the chat aren't able to answer them. Let's go now to Ben Harbor, our operations manager. Ben is largely responsible for everything you see on the map and where it goes and how it happens during our weekend. So Ben, if you could brief everyone on arrival and specifically pit zone process for this venue, please.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Brian. So as you come in the road entering Ferris Memorial Park, as we heard with camping, you'll come down into that long purple section. That's where our pit zone unloading and loading is going to be. We're going to direct you down in between the first two fields. You're going to turn to your right. You're going to go all the way to the end of the parking lot. You're going to do a U-turn and you come back up and fill in those spaces as you park and unload. You can unload the stuff right there in the grass and then go park your vehicle up in the parking lot, and team members, coaches, parents, whoever can help you get your belongings from the grass edge into your pit box. As you know, in years past, if you've been here for a long time, we use the lower baseball field as our pit zone, all the grass edge parts of the field. We have been growing since seasons past, and we're probably not going to fit inside everything we need inside the pit in the ball field. We will do our best on Friday to get as much as we can, but please be aware that there may be some teams outside of the pit zone of the baseball field fence for their pit zone along the left field side of the fence and also the right field side of the fence. So we will have the row numbers as much as we can utilize those. We'll have those out so you can hopefully identify your pit box pretty quickly. But pretty much once you get off of asphalt, it will be a walk your bike section around the majority of that baseball field. And lower beyond that baseball field, there's some horseshoe throwing stuff where programs and other event activities will be happening, and then on down to towards the driving range where we have the start shoot. So be aware of where we're going to have those walk your bike signs. There will be spread out outside of that baseball field for pit zone, but pit zone is going to be pretty tight and unique setup for this Mayodan race. Pit zone in the flyer, we do have the times. Pit zone will open at 10 a.m. and then we'll close it down as typical about 12:45. That way we can kind of mitigate the traffic running back and forth through the parking lots. And then on Sunday, we will open up pit zone for unloading and parking and reloading after the majority of the race event has been torn down and packed up. there's any questions, we can either ask now or hold your peace.
Thank you very much, Ben, for that overview. And I'll just point out here across from the parking lot, the little piece of street there, that's where the league trailer will be. You can find hike at registration coaches, pick up your packets and wristbands. And that is also where you can find our volunteer coordinator, Diane LeBlanc. Why don't you give everyone an overview of volunteer needs for the night?
Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night town hall in preparation for our Mayodan race. We are in desperate need once again for volunteers, specifically course marshals for shift 1, and we are also needing a roving course marshal for shift 1. The other critical need that we have are crossing guards. As y'all know, we can't do these races unless we have these volunteer spots filled. So I should have led with this. Thank you so much for all of you who have volunteered thus far, but we still need you. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box, or you can hit me up at diane@northcarolinamtv.org. That's all I have. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you very much, Diane. And because this is event 4, this might be the first time some of our awesome volunteers qualify for that pretty cool, distinct, and only for volunteers mug. Isn't that right, Diane?
Yes, that's correct, Brian.
Yeah. All right. So thanks.
Sorry,
Yeah.
really like 35 volunteers, I think, that if they volunteer at this race, they're going to get one of those very cool mugs. Thanks, Brian.
Awesome. Yeah. So thanks to all those folks that just keep coming back all the time. Help us run these events. It's fantastic. So let's pause there. That's generally arrival things you need to know coming in. Shell, can you give us a status check on the chat, and/or someone can raise their hand and ask
Hey,
a
Brian,
question?
can I add one other thing that we can put in the chat from the operations side?
Yes, please, Ben. Go ahead.
Food trucks. For those that have been here or coming first time, cell phone service might be just a tick above a string can and a Dixie cup. So if you're accustomed to using cards or plastic for payment, I would encourage you to stop outside the city, pick up some cash, and support the local food trucks with cash. Internet may be sparse.
Cash, what's that? Okay. But thank you, Ben. That's a good heads up. It is, I call the top of the parking lot cell phone hill at Mayodan. That's typically where I go to get some decent service out there. So that's a good heads up. Whatever your communication requirements are for the weekend, everyone, just be aware. It's usually pretty spotty on the cell service out there. Shell, how are we doing? Are we getting most everything answered, or?
So our first student athlete question was from Claudia Baum from Smith Middle School, wondering, she said, I was pre-riding the course and saw the big rock garden that was taped off last year. What categories will that be available for?
So who wants to field that question on the staff? I'm happy to, but usually I hog the microphone during these things.
I don't mind taking that. I think Todd got something else going on this evening. I do believe we are going to leave that rock garden open for a ride by choice. So there'll be several different lines that you can choose for that rock garden. During course inspection, we would highly recommend that you review those lines and understand which line would be the fastest for you. One thing we will be doing is we will be marking off the perimeter of that rock garden with some tape to keep spectators out of the rock garden during races. So please respect the tape, which will be mentioned later on.
A related question, Will Perry from Caldwell County wondered how many rock gardens are in the race.
Go ahead, Ben.
I'm thinking off the top of my head, you got the big one at the top that everybody's talking about. That's number 1. I want to say there's two little other smaller rock features on the trail. But that's a great segue into watch the great course preview by your league director, Brian Russell. Video on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, okay, there I was, like, and I'm not like dodging the question, but what do you mean by rock garden? I think we have incorporated a new section down by the lake, which was different from last year, and that has some more rocks in it. And Ben, I think you're exactly right. On the big long climb up to the top of the hill, there's a couple rock sections, and then I think the famous one everyone is talking about here at the top of the hill before you come back down into the venue, so to speak.
Yep. Yep.
So okay,
Always consult the video preview.
those are yeah, on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment. So I think are we good then, Shell? Or
Noah Droke would like to know how long the start shoot is.
I don't
We have
honestly
not-
know if we measured it per se.
No, we have not officially measured that one. Most of the time, you'll have a typical 300 feet of snow fence and then tape, and then we'll meander up the hill, go across the little valley to the dam, and then shoot across the backside of the dam. I'm going to say from start line to single track, I'm going to go with about 1,200 feet. We'll measure it out and see if I'm right. And I'll go with 1,200 feet.
Okay, Price is Right rules 1 feet. I'm gonna go with that one. Then everyone else can put their bid in. Yeah, Noah, I pulled it up on the screen here. This is pretty accurate in terms of the GPX track that we've got, just like Ben described, up in the really what we would call the start shoot, and then we'll wrap you back towards the dam here, and then you ride across the dam. Right as the end, you're going into single track. So if you meant start shoot specifically, it's this little piece right here to get up on the dam. A lot of course questions tonight. Fantastic.
We've got one more. It's Mike Heightfield would like to know if all the lines over the rock gardens will be open.
So I think Ben answered it as best we could. We're gonna keep everything open, and I was gonna put the caveat in, Ben, that depending on what the course setters see on Friday, and then make a recommendation to Todd, Lester, the race director, the staff, and me at 11:20 on Saturday morning that the course is in fact set, and so we can brief the coaches at 11:30. So you'll know at 11:30, and attending the course preview for the coaches, you'll know what the course conditions are and what we have set one way or the other. But I think, I remember 3 lines through the main rock garden there, and I think our intent is to keep as much open as possible. But Mike Heightfield might be a type of guy who makes his 4th line, his own type of line. You just don't know. Is that fair enough, Mike?
That was Eli. Sorry.
Eli does like to make his own lines occasionally with
Like
respect to the trail.
Like father, like son, perhaps. Very good. Perfect. Very good. All right. Well, let's move on to Saturday, and you can keep the course questions coming, or even arrival questions are just fine, just to keep us all on schedule. I'll go back to the flyer here, and let's start on Saturday, since it's kind of the first thing that's open for everyone is our programs area around 12 o'clock. So Shell, do we want to start with grit tonight and go over to Angie?
Sure.
Okay, Angie, let's what does grit have in store for everyone this weekend?
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here at the town hall. For Mayodan and our grit area, we have a couple of unique things, but we have some familiar things to the girls. And so we'll start out with our pre-ride, which does require a pit zone registration. Kind of gather our ride leaders and our sweeps for the pre-ride. And during that time, everybody gets to have some community building and just get to know the other riders that are going to be out there. We have, it looks like Brian's got it up on the screen here for us from the flyer, but our rider development project was something that was going on at the last one, but there'll be like a discussion this time about rider development and goal setting. And that's a couple of our awesome senior ambassadors, and they will be talking to all of the girls about, becoming a better rider, what your goals are, and just spending a little time with them before we roll out and start splitting into groups for the pre-ride. We'll go out, we'll do our course preview. It is a course preview, so please remember that we're all out there together. We stay together as a group. We make sure that we can see our sweep and all of the girls make it through all of the parts of the trail. If there are sections they want a session, we go back and session those. We are out there to see the course and take our time and take it all in. Then in the grit tent, activities go on in the grit tent for most of the day, 12 to 5 or so. And there's bracelet making, there's coloring books, there are some great just resources out there and available for the girls. The inflatable couches are usually out, especially on a nice day. And then the nice thing about Mayodan is we have access to water. So we'll have a bike wash clinic that goes on. It's kind of a collaboration between our mentor-mentee program and our mechanical clinic, just all about keeping that bike clean and understanding what to do preventative maintenance wise and what to stay away from when you're cleaning your bike. We all want our bikes to sparkle. So a good opportunity there. And we've got a couple of power sprayers that we can pull out. And then game hour, that's typically just a time the girls can connect. And the last thing that's going to go on, and Shell will probably talk about this more, but there will be an out of this world glow party at Mayodan from 7 to 9. So I will turn it back over to you, Brian, unless anybody has questions for me on grit.
Yeah, please throw those questions in the chat if you have them. But that was a very thorough overview, Angie. So thank you very much for that. And I've got the map back up, and we anticipate the grit area being over by the bike wash, just to orient everyone on kind of where it has been at Mayodan, but just from pit zone across into the programs area, look for the grit tent, and you can find it there. So thank you again, Angie, and again, keep the questions coming in the chat, but also open at noon on Saturday is our adventure area. So Bill Barry, would you like to walk us through?
Yeah,
what's going
happy
on?
to. Thank you, Brian. So yeah, right next to the grit area, for those of you familiar with Mayodan, we'll have the adventure area. And so in terms of the activities that we have in store to have fun on Saturday, first and foremost, just a reminder to all our student athletes, if you bring your passport, you can have your passport stamped for activities that you may have done on your own or as a team. And we will also be leading a passport activity on Saturday afternoon. The one we'll focus on here is learn something new about your bike. And we will have supplies and be able to lead you through some of those discussions. We will try to kick those off at the top of the hour as best as we can track time while we're all having fun on Saturday. But that's something that we will offer to everyone. We'll also be having our skills area where we have the obstacles and challenges. Those of you who know Mayodan, it's a little bit tight in there, so we'll make the most of that space to have fun. I am hoping we'll be able to break back out the Ninja Garage Bunnies so that our student athletes can work on their manuals and bunny hops. And then otherwise, for everyone who's having fun, if you have your passport stamped, if you lead a game amongst your student athletes, if you are dressed up under the theme of space, you can enter into an adventure raffle. And so we plan to do the raffle at the end of the afternoon at 5:30. I think around some other fun that Shell might come to later. So be sure to drop by and see if you can enter the raffle. One quick reminder otherwise, we do also have race plate badges for the teams to pick up for all of our student athletes who were nominated by their coaches or who achieved it through TTC hours. So come by the adventure tent and pick up your race plate badges for your team. That's it for me, Brian.
Bill, thanks so much for giving a very thorough rundown of all the cool stuff you've got set up for the student athletes on Saturday. Let's shift over to Teen Trail Core next. This is new for us at Mayodan, and like we've done this season, in addition to those other things we're doing, we try to offer a ride opportunity and or a trail work opportunity. Mayodan is a trail work opportunity. So Shell, what do we have in store for Teen Trail Corps?
Leonard and our Teen Trail Corps committee are going to be hosting 3 Teen Trail Corps sessions, so hands-on trail work out on the race course. So the first session, if you can arrive at 11:45 for the safety briefing, they'll be heading back from trail work at 1. The second session, arrive at the Teen Trail Corps tent 1:45, and they will be heading back from the trail work at 3. And then session 3, they'll need to arrive at 3:45 at the Teen Trail Corps tent, and they'll be heading back at 5. They will leave right on time, so please make sure that you're at the Teen Trail Corps tent ready, appropriate footwear, gloves if you've got them, so that they can get out there and get you back on time as well, because I know everybody's got course preview and other things going on too. We'll also have the rock crawler activity for student athletes who have stamped the Teen Trail Corps related activities in their adventure passports. Those student athletes who have earned their gloves or t-shirts for logging Teen Trail Corps hours should have gotten an email letting them know. And you can pick those up at the Teen Trail Corps tent. And we will also have some trail tools on display that will be awarded to the top 5 student athletes who logged the most hours for Teen Trail Corps this season. So you can come check those out, see what you might be able to earn. And then they've got lots of other activities and games going on. So I know they've got some cool stickers and tattoos over there. So definitely stop by and say hey.
Okay, fantastic. Some good opportunities for our folks that have been doing trail work. And evidently, we've been doing some trail work, well over 3,000 hours at this point, 1,000 hours during trail week. And Shell, I think we will recognize our trail week top teams during podiums at Mayodan, correct?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, kudos to them that put in a ton of work. So let's go over to right about, all the programs area stuff open up 12 o'clock. Sean Moore is having a head coach brief at 11:30, and Coach Sport is taking some coaches out to take a look at the course, and then our course inspection, no major changes. But Sean, why don't you give folks just an overview of what to expect if they haven't been here before, or some highlights we're thinking about for this weekend?
So the main things to think about from Mayodan are rocks, especially level pedals when not pedaling, and how to use side-to-side bike body separation to navigate through tight rock sections. There are a couple where rock strikes with pedals can be problematic, and getting student athletes to recognize like timing and those issues are important. The other is lots of corners. Some are small berms, some are large berms, and some are just flat. So a variety of cornering situations to work on with student athletes. So something to anticipate for whenever you're taking them out for their pre-rides. And same pre-ride schedule that we normally have. So red flag is going to start at 1. That'll be for just our single lap student athletes, and that'll last from 1 to 2:30. Then we'll go into yellow flag, which is that course preview time for our multi-lap student athletes. That's going to go from 2:30 to 4. In both of those situations, really coaches slow down. Don't try and go race pace. Don't try and go the whatever fast pace your student athletes are wanting to. They're excited to be on their bikes, so tamper that down and give them to really honestly take a look at the course, kind of get a feel for it. And then under the green flag, whenever that starts at 4 o'clock, they can go out and ride faster with their buddies and actually try out lines at speed. And that's something to kind of encourage them to, partner up as a team and kind of go out there and just tackle things, and try to find the fastest lines that they can. The other thing that I want to kind of mention to everyone, spectating is definitely difficult at Mayodan, anywhere but the main kind of infield area. So we will be working on a spectator plan, and the guidance is as it always is, but it's incredibly important for everyone to understand that this is a student athlete safety issue, and that is to only cross the course at the designated course crossings and to never cross tape or fencing. this is something that we are still seeing. It's still being problematic, but it just can't take place. We have to ensure the safety of anyone who is on course at the time. And this is the way to mitigate that. So look for those course crossings. They will have big yellow banners above your head so that you will be able to see them from far away. And we will have some designated paths to get from this infield area out into the course itself so that you can spectate in the woods and cheer on your student athletes so that you can help keep them motivated. If you have any questions about that, on Saturday, I will not be around, but Jeff Cathy will be serving in my place. And on Sunday, I will be there and will be serving as your chief referee. If you have any questions, you can reach out to either of us.
All right. Thank you for that, Sean. And I think maybe just one more thing to talk about for Saturday. Pie Smash Shell. What in the world? That's out of this world. What's going on with, and who's getting smashed? Do we know yet?
We do. So the 5 top teams for the truck fundraiser that's going on right now get to pick one representative from their team. They get to decide how they pick that representative, whether that was a game, the top fundraiser from their specific team, who will get to smash either a willing staff member, coach, or fellow student athlete of their choice with a pie. I promise those in the chat I have a way to make it space themed and extremely messy no matter what kind of pie I pick. But that will be happening near the announcing tent at 4:30. Just like Extreme Rock, Paper, Scissors, it is sure to be pretty entertaining. So definitely swing by and check that out. We have Northwick Trailhawks, Pisgah Rage, Icy Imagine, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the other 2 are actually. But it will be fun and very silly. And if you saw the pictures of rock, paper, scissors that our league photographer Debbie took and saw the facial expressions of those spectating that activity, it is definitely worth coming and checking it out.
Right. Should be pretty cool. Thanks for putting that together, Shell. And then courses are closing like normal 5:30. Coaches, if you want to catch a ride with Jeff Cathy at the end of the day there, meet down by the start shoot 5:15, and you all basically sweep the course, which is good. And then Shell, any other thoughts on Glow Party for the night before we pause for questions?
Nope, other than if you've got something that'll glow under the black light, definitely wear it. And we've got some new glow in the dark games to play. So it should be pretty cool.
All right. Well, good stuff. Well, let's pause there. Let's review the chat window, or if anyone has a question about Saturday, get it on the table now, please, before we move to Sunday.
Luke Harris asked if there will be a stationary marshal at the Rock Garden during Green Lap. I took a guess at the answer, but if that might be something others are curious about as well, if they want to answer it.
There is normally one up near there. I don't know if Brian Wood is on the line tonight. I know we've got our draft positions of marshals, and that looks to be the one right there.
The question is for Green Lap during pre-ride.
Whether we have a marshal at the Rock Garden during Green Lap, is that?
Yes.
Oh, we do have some of our volunteer marshals who basically roam the course Saturday afternoon during Green Lap and equipped with radios, but I don't know if Brian's plan is to put someone there the entire time on the Rock Garden, but that's something we'll consider. It seems like you might have a concern about that, Luke, and please feel free to talk to us about that if you are. Okay, any other questions for Saturday? Okay, let's move on to Sunday. And let me go back to the map for this one just to give everyone an orientation. Ben did a good job describing the start shoot down here and essentially the driving range of Ferris Memorial Park. Staging will be down here in this area. And this area on the map with the kind of off-white line down here is, unfortunately, we use about every inch of trail at Maydan for the race course. So there's not a good on-trail warm-up option. So we'd like athletes and coaches to come down here and use the outskirts of this big wide open area for their warm up. Keeps you off the roads, keeps you out of the parking lot, keeps you away from pit zone and the walk your bike areas. That's probably the best place to spin your legs, at least somewhere, not on a trainer for Mayodan. So that's what we'd like you to use for the warm up area. And then schedule wise, we've got right now 543 registered athletes. So we're back to something akin to the Salisbury schedule, where a lot of our bigger categories have multiple fields. And that's what this looks like right now for the day. So going all the way down, varsity boys, cutoff time 3:55, probably wrapping up the racing 4:30-ish or so, at least before there. So that's what the day looks like. Before we close and go to open mic and answer any other questions, I will talk about the weather. Just like always, I'll host a weather call tomorrow about 11 o'clock. Look at what's coming, and we do see some rain in the forecast. If I had to guess, the staff will get a little wet on Friday, setting up. Saturday looks pretty good, but there is some rain coming late on Sunday. We're going to keep our eye on. I will again announce after the weather call tomorrow what the plan and decision is. It looks like it's a go, but we might have to modify the schedule a little bit Sunday to beat the rain, particularly if it's thunderstorms, which completely shut us down. And we've got some options to compress the schedule a little bit to make sure we get done before that. But again, we'll communicate that as soon as we make that decision about any impacts from weather to the schedule. So with that, let's just go to questions, either in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll try and get those answered for the remainder of our time.
I did remember the other two teams are Onslow County and Forsyth for the Pie Smash, by the way.
Sweet.
Well, I bet they knew who they were and they're ready. Like,
Brian, one reminder, and correct me if I've missed an email, but the national anthem, I think we're still looking for a student athlete to potentially lead us at Mayodan. Is that correct?
I believe it's correct. I have not received any responses or interest from anyone. So yeah, let's put that call out. Certainly, student athlete interested in performing national anthem. We love seeing that. So please reach out to us if you are in a position to do that for us Sunday morning at 8:40.
Cooper from Cabarrus County is wondering if there is a possibility of rain at the next two races. If they end up being canceled, would the championship become an open race for everyone?
Oh, Cooper, always with the good questions, very insightful questions. And I will make the announcement here a little bit early. I had a great session with some of the staff last night, and we are going to open the championship to every rider in the league. So you can come participate in the championship race, whether the, rain, whatever, with the next two races, championship race will be open to everyone. And I'll get some word out to head coaches and team directors about that tomorrow. But very insightful question, Cooper.
Well, we're waiting for another question. I have something fun to add for grit activities, because it was a really cool idea from student athletes, including yours, Brian Russell, was a make your own trail mix bar. So from 1 to 3, the grit ambassadors will have a whole bunch of really cool goodies to put in a bag to make some trail mix if you stop in there before you go on pre-ride.
All about fun ideas. Awesome. Well, what other questions do you have, folks? Again, not a ton of changes for Mayhem. I think we are generally set, but happy to field any remaining questions. Very good, Luke. If you're angling for an invitation to the podcast with dad jokes like that,
Hey, Brian,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Ann. So, just one last thing. I want to remind everyone that sign up on our sign up genius close at noon on Friday. So if you have not signed up for a volunteer position by then, you will need to come to the volunteer table on Saturday morning, first thing. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you for that reminder, Diane. So I've got looks like a couple questions in the chat. Shell, are you gonna take Elizabeth's question about the grit bike wash? You got it. Okay, yeah, and then for Shane, the camp mayor helps assist our camping coordinator, Michael Lashley, with just managing each of the campsites. So the tent site or the RV site, just being a point of contact for all campers to go to in case there's any issues, or if we need to pass information to all campers, we can just tell one person by trying to run around and tell a ton of people. And that's generally the responsibility of the camp mayor. I'm very appreciative of those volunteers that step up and help us manage the camping area. And just like Michael said, let's take care of them so we can always have camping when we come back to these venues. And
So-
Cooper, I don't know the answer to your question about when I'll open that up in pit zone. I need to work out a couple more details before we do that. But I suspect based on the nature of your question, you'll be the very first one to sign up when it is open.
So to piggyback on the camping, Brian, not that I'm going to say the 4-letter word that starts with rain, but if we do, I hope we don't. If we do have rain, for those that are RV camping with larger vehicles or trailers, please be respectful of how you pack out and drive out on the end of the weekend. If it's actively raining or it's looking to be raining, it may be best to try to pull those vehicles and campers out of there and park it on hard surface before the rain traps you in and we tear up the soccer fields and the grass fields. So be ready to pivot if need be, and let's not tear up everything in there. We'll message that over the weekend as well.
Eli, we do not have a specific coffee vendor, although Easy Eats might have coffee, Ben. I'm going the deep recesses of my food truck list.
I know Easy Eats might have some coffee. This Little Piggy will be back. They were at Salisbury. I think they brought coffee one day, but they're limited with space. We do not have a dedicated coffee vendor like we have in the past. We'll have the ice cream truck there and Kona Ice as well. And the Boy Scouts will be back as well. And they typically have coffee for those that have been quitters and don't understand what sweet tea is yet.
We can drop a line to the scouts who are coming to support us. Maybe they can bring some coffee.
Yeah.
For obviously the adults.
Yes.
In the audience.
And cash is king for most all food vendors.
Oh yeah. I figured as much, Chris. Yep. No, we're not taking notes on Eli drinking coffee, I guess. All right, Michaela, I don't know, and at this point, I'm going to suspend all championship questions until the town hall for that championship, and I'll get some information out about that as soon as I can. All right, well, I think that's about a wrap. Looking forward to seeing everyone this weekend, and thank you so much for dialing into the town hall, and travel safe.